Why aren't you going there and celebrating with them? Because their African culture and tradition don't match up with the Gullah Geechee. I know personally, we've witnessed it. What they do as Africans there does not match up what the Gullah Geechee do.
Man, sit your dumb ass down and shut.
What's good? It's your brother YK the Truth. And the fake pretendian is at it again. The fake pretendian strikes again. They are trying desperately to de-Africanize the Gullah people. They're trying desperately to make the Gullah people something that they are not. Aren't you tired of hearing the same thing? Well, not all black people come from Africa. Not all Gullahs are African. Aren't you tired of hearing this? Let's get it.
All you that are saying Gullah, you're not all Gullah from Africa. Angola.
Now, you know the reason why they say that? They say that because there's too much evidence that proves we do come from Africa. We do descend from Africa. So, because there's so much evidence, they have to rephrase it. They have to say, well, not all black people come from Africa because there's evidence that black people do come from Africa. So I say the same thing that I always say. What proof do you have that you're not the ones who came from Africa? And they all go to grandma said. Grandma, like you only have one grandmother. What about your grandfathers? What about your other grandmothers? Just because one grandmother told you that you was an Indian, come on, man, stop playing. Let's get it.
There was a group of people just coincidentally called the Wali, spelled Guale.
I wish people stop saying this. Wali has nothing to do with Gullah people. All right? They are not the same. Wali refers to a Native American tribe. I thought you guys weren't natives. I thought you weren't natives, but you're quick to steal Native American history. So Wali refers to a Native American tribe historically located along the coast of Georgia, while Gullah refers to a cultural group of African American descendants of enslaved people living primarily on the Sea Islands of South Carolina and Georgia. This is African people. You got that wrong. You got it wrong, buddy.
Spelled Guale. If I add an A to that, the same way they changed the word Yamasi in South Carolina, because now we're no longer Yamasi in South Carolina, we're Yemasi. They put an E there.
Why you keep saying we're not? You're not those people. Those people are not no longer here. There's no proof you descend from those people. Guala is not Gullah. It's not Gullah. Guala is not Gullah. It's not the same thing. Try again.
But if I take Gullah, if I take Wali, Guale, and add an A to it, what you got?
Gullah.
Walla or Guala. If you're saying Wali, why would it go from Wali to Gullah if you add an A? Like, don't ever speak about Gullah history ever again. Ever. Ling Ling, this is your chief? You gotta do better.
Plain and simple.
Paper genocide.
Paper genocide. We talked about that last time. Now let's add what? Geechee. Yeah. What is a Geechee? People say, oh, they was rice eaters. No, stop.
Who said it was rice eaters? They were rice growers. They brought people from the rice coast because they needed people to grow rice in America. So they went and got the people who were qualified to do that job. This is simple.
It's a Hichiti word. Ukichi.
Cap, stop the cap right now. Stop the
And a lot
cap.
of them and a lot of them will tell you, yeah, my grandma was Indian, but you're proclaiming to be African.
West African.
Grandma said, what I told you. What I told you. It's always, my grandma said, it's always granny. Always granny.
But you're proclaiming to be African.
West African. Yeah.
So as long as you're arguing, and again, not everybody, a lot of them do have African ancestry.
See? They gotta hit you with the not everybody. This that typical Dane Callaway shuffle. It was told in reverse. You see? It happened, but not the way they say it happened. Because it's too much evidence. Not all black people come from Africa. Do you hear what I'm saying? So they gotta, straddle the fence because they know it's too much evidence. Documents, genetics, archaeology, anthropology, you name it. So they gotta hit you with the not all Gullah were African. Stop it, man. Making a fool out of yourself. Now, this comment right here proves he don't even know Gullah history. He don't even know who the Gullah are or what makes your ancestry Gullah. He said it was a group of African people. And listen to what he about to say.
A lot of them do have that. I'm trying to figure out why are you running then from the Oyotunji? There's an African village there that they're from Africa. They have a sovereign land there. The king who was my good friend, one of my best friends, just died. He just got murdered a couple months ago. Why aren't you going there and celebrating with them? Because their African culture and tradition don't match up with the Gullah Geechee. I know personally, we've witnessed it. What they do as Africans there does not match up what the Gullah Geechee do.
Now, why would it match when a bunch of Africans from different locations in Africa created a different culture? Why would it match? But what you do have are those words that are still there. You still have that. Those African words that are from each, different African tribe. Let's let the elder destroy you. This guy should never speak about Gullah history ever again. Ever. Ever.
I write for the Savannah Morning News also, and I focus on Gullah Geechee culture, black culture, and I just received a letter from a man out in the west coast of the United States, and he identified as a white man, and he chastised me for calling Gullah Geechee people indigenous to this area. He said they came from Africa. They're not indigenous to the coastal Georgia area. So I had to educate him, right? So you're right. Gullah Geechee people are the descendants of Africans who were captured in West Africa, primarily Sierra Leone,
Hold on.
Liberia.
Let's
Ghana,
repeat
and
that.
West Africa. So,
From where?
Right. Of Africans who were captured in West Africa, primarily.
Let's
in
repeat
West
that.
Africa.
From where? From where?
Liberia, Ghana, those areas that were really well known for their rice culture growing skills, right? Rice growing skills. And they were brought to this region for that reason. Well, they were kept primarily on the Sea Island. Sapelo, Dabuski, St. Simons, Jekyll Island, all of those islands. That gave them the opportunity to create their own culture. That gave them the opportunity to
See, create their own culture. So why is he saying, well, they don't match? That right there was a red flag that let me know you don't know what Gullah is. But you're running around doing these podcasts, doing these interviews, miseducating the people. Who are you?
to keep in mind that it was very intentional by the captors to separate people based on their tribes, their village, the region that they came from, to separate them, to reduce the likelihood of a revolt. And so that meant that the captured Africans who were on the islands often didn't speak the same language. So they had to come up with their own languages, a blend of what they heard what's called the pale man speak. They picked up words here and there. They brought some of their words from Africa.
There you go, right there.
They created new words. Thus, we have the Gullah Geechee language. They also created their own culture, largely based on that which came from Africa. So we have their music, foodways, waterways, spirituality, all of that combined together to create what we now call the Gullah Geechee culture, which is the oldest, get this now, it is the oldest and most directly related culture back to Africa, right? So the Creole in New Orleans can't claim that, right? We have it right here in Savannah, Georgia.
And my fourth great grandfather was born in Savannah, Georgia. My fourth great grandmother was born in Savannah, Georgia. Not only that, you got my fourth great grandmother with the Creole culture. 14% of my DNA is from Western Bantu. That's Angola. It's Angola. I got ancestors from Ghana. Ancestry from Ghana. You're talking about I'm a Gullah descendant. We from the low country. Don't speak about Gullah again, man. Do your little pseudo shuffle, but leave the Gullah out of it. This is what make me come outside when I hear you guys distorting history. Stop it. Let's get back to the Gullah.
Hi y'all, so let's check this out real quick. Again, I only got 1 minute, so let's go on. So my sister's aunt, she's 100% African. You know, there's this misconception that there ain't no more African Americans who are just straight up African, but that's not the case. And like with my Nigerian Ghanaian friend, like I said, sometimes regions are messed up with people who are like straight up African, so he actually doesn't come back with an African American region. But his father's from Savannah, Georgia, you know, Gullah Geechee. So, you know, you do the math on this. She's 19% Cameroon, Congo, Western Bantu people, 27% Mali, 17% Nigeria, 12% Benin, Togo, 20% Senegal, 5% Ivory Coast and Ghana, nothing else. So she's 100% African. Again, she's from Savannah, Georgia. You know, both her parents. You know, she's straight up Gullah Geechee, and this is my sister's aunt. So that's cool. So yeah, the misconception there ain't no more African Americans who are 100% African. That's a lie. They're out there.
And you got it right here. The Gullah shows the highest average of African ancestry proportion of any U.S. African American group studied to date. This is my DNA as well. So with that being said, it's your brother YK the Truth, man. Please thumb up the video, share the video. I appreciate it. I'm out. Peace.